Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is your Ruben coming at you. This is your friend Ruben, your brother Ruben coming at you. To enlighten you on many different subjects in these last days that we're living in. Because whether you want to accept it or not, whether you want to believe in denial or not, we are living in the last days. However, let me just tell you this. This is not a religious YouTube channel. I'm coming at you to tell you straight up from the hip the real reason why people are killing themselves, not just in Chirac, in Chicago, why the young men are killing each other over there. Okay, there are a lot of channels out there talking about the situation in Chirac, Chicago. But let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, first we're going to have to go back to history and establish a foundation as to why we got why Chicago got to its present danger. Okay? Okay? It's a human slaughterhouse out there. No doubt. Let me just tell you one thing. First of all, let us start with the reality that the people that are living in Chicago are the people of God. Yes, they are part of God's people. In fact, the Negroes, the black people living in Chirac, are part of God's, and their name, they came from the tribe of Judah. These people have been, the black people in America have been traumatized and have been totally played, slayed, they have been sold, you name it. Every word in the book, okay, of abuse is on there, okay? These people have been traumatized. Now, I'm not justifying anything. I just want you to understand as to why Chicago, and I'm not talking about just Chicago. I'm going to expand and talk about as to how this connects to the situation, for instance, in Mexico, right, with the cartels and how they deal with each other. Yeah. There are gangs in Chirac that deal with Mexican cartels. Okay? So here we go. I'm going to read you some things. Hopefully I'm going to try to get this video in just one. But I doubt it because I have a lot of things to cover. This may be a three-way series. Hopefully not. But the way I look at it, the way I see it, I think that's what it's going to come down to. All right, now let me begin. In fact, the title of this video is called An Experiment Called Chicago. Because that's exactly what it is. An experiment, okay? The devil is laughing, okay? And it is completely playing with people's lives. All right, here we go. Illinois is the 21st state in the Union. It became the 21st state in the Union in the United States back in December 3rd, 1818, with a population of more than 12 million people. Chicago, Illinois has 2,720,546 people, which makes it the largest city in Illinois, in the state of Illinois. The Chicago experiment has worked to perfection, which has become one of the most dangerous cities in the world. For it has become the carnage capital city, which has become to be known as. There are many factors that goes into the root cause of this human slaughterhouse. none of which its social, political, and religious leaders would even touch with a 10-foot pole. You know why? Because they are part of this conspiracy to keep God's people in sufferings, death, and despair. Again, let me remind you, the African American people are the descendants of the tribes of Judah. Alright? That doesn't mean that all the descendants of tribes of Judah are just here in the United States. You got some in Africa, of course. And by the way, African was a name that was named after Sir Mr. Africanus, which by the way was a white man. All right, in the slave trade, we were pushed to Africa. God's people were pushed to Africa, ladies and gentlemen. Now, and by the way, God's people once had everything, especially when we came out of Egypt. Remember? When we were there for not 400 years of slavery, like some people may want you to know, we were there. We were 100 years in slavery. Okay, in servitude over there. All right. Now, first of all, let us understand and comprehend who are these people killing each other in Englewood and the south side of Chicago, in back of the yards, okay, in all of the most dangerous cities in Chicago, okay? That was run by a name, all of Chicago was once run by a name Al Capone. Born, condition, name Al Capone, born, condition, and programmed to become one of the biggest gangsters in Chicago's history. The biggest gangster. He was the original of all the gangsters. All right? But you know what? That man that was in Chicago was actually born in New York, Brooklyn, New York. Al Capone is from Brooklyn, New York. Okay? Which, by the way, that's my hometown where I grew up. Okay? He was born back on January 17, 1899. Okay? Also known as Scarface or Big R or Big Boy. Now, while this character was being groomed by design to be used as a prop into the spiritual warfare, he was going to conjure demons for the next people that were going to be worked, conditioned, and bewitched. Yes, God's people, you black people in Chicago have been bewitched and have been worked. All right? So that you all kill each other exactly. So the devil's got you right where he wants you. But these people were being traumatized on top of the fact that a lot of them were brought here to America during the slave trade, okay, to the Virginia coast back in 1619. Back in the year 1619. Okay, you are from the tribes of Judah, which did evil in the eyes of God, and God punished them with curses spoken of in Deuteronomy chapter 28, from verse 1 to verse 68, which are in full effect in these last days, with even more cruelty and more cruel punishments, such as never was. The Edomites, yes. Okay? So Esau's descendants are also Romans. They are your Greeks that are over God's people today all over the earth. They have worked, first of all, worked our people to the point that we don't know who we are. We are the lost tribes of Israel. Judah is part of the lost tribe of Judah. And that's exactly where we are at. We are lost. And since we are lost, we are subject to all the devil's conspiracies and all the devil's games that have been played. The people that control the United States have, by design, destroyed God's descendants throughout history, ladies and gentlemen. All right? I hope you understand what I'm talking about here. Once again, if one does not know the history, they are so easily to manipulate into oblivion. And you can get people to follow and believe everything they tell you. This is how the Masonic order has worked our people since 1619 up to now, knowing perfectly who we are as a people, but making sure we never find out. All right? So first was the Virginia, the Negroes for sale back in 1619. Okay? Then, two, gave the people religions, knowing that we are the most spiritual people on this planet. Did you know that God's people, including the tribe of Judah, are the most spiritual people on this planet? In fact, let me just tell you God's and who they are, all right? First we go with Reuben. Reuben are the Aborigines that are in Australia, the Seminoles Indians. You got the Simeon tribe. Simeon tribes are the people from the Dominican Republic, which, by the way, is where I'm from. You got the tribe of Levi, which are the Haitians. You got the tribe of Judah, which are what they call, as a joke, ladies and gentlemen. The devil is laughing its way to killing as many people as he can from God's descendants, from God's tribes. All right, from Israel's. All right. Then you got Manasseh, who are the Cubans. Then you got Naphtali, all right, who are the Chileans and Argentinians. Then you got Gad, which are whom people call the Native Americans, the Indians. Then you got Asher, who are the Colombians, all right. Colombians, and you also got Brazil. Then you got Issachar, who are the Mexicans. Then you got Zebulon, again. Then you got Ephraim, who are the Puerto Ricans. Then you got Benjamins, who are the Jamaicans. So, so you got Zebulon, who are the people from Guatemala to Panama. Let me correct that. And then you got the people of Naphtali. You got from Colombia. From Guatemala to Panama, you got Zebulon. Then you got Asher, who are the Colombians, and to Brazil. All right, so three, you spread them all out. God decided to spread them all out and assign black religious leaders and politicians to lure the people into being pacific and nice and obedient, nice Negroes. 4, working them psychologically to become what you hate. See, when you become what you hate, you have fallen into one of the devil's most evil traps. The Democrats created the KKK. Do you know that? That the Democrats, what people call the Democrats, created the Ku Klux Klan. But check this out, ladies and gentlemen. We are so naive, we are so blinded, since we don't know history, that what happens is we identify ourselves with the Democratic Party. And we claim, I always vote Democrats. But let me just tell you one thing, ladies and gentlemen. All right? And then, by the way, I'm one of the only few people that give this context here in YouTube land. Okay? Your votes don't count. Your leaders are chosen. Please don't believe me. Do your own research. But as the young lady who believed all of her pretenders' lies until it is too late, so has the Democrats. And now all of the blacks feel like they must be Democrats. They are in what I call the Democratic labyrinth. The Democratic labyrinth trap. It is a trap. All right? And when you become what you hate, you destroy your own by going against it. Because you are play to go against your own people. That's the psychological game. And taskmasters and killers, we are our own enemy. 6, create gangs to terrorize your own people. The government infiltrated them into cliques. The government infiltrated the leaders. Yes. Okay, let me give you an example. All right. Al Capone was actually somebody that worked with the government. But when this guy with all the power and the money that he had, when he came to power, he thought he was untouchable. All right? In fact, they made a movie about that, The Untouchables, right? So he thought that he was untouchable. So throughout history, you have people that have risen to say, wait a minute, like Larry Hoover, okay? Bumpy Johnson, okay? Larry Hoover, who is, by the way, when he first started, it was about GDs, right? The Gangster Disciples, which stands for Growth and Development. All right? But he actually became known as the Gangster's Disciples. Larry Hoover was the one that created the Gangster Disciples, okay? So what does the government do? They infiltrated, yes, the CIA, all right, and the FBI. They infiltrated and got into Larry Hoover. And what happens? Everybody spread. Everybody, it just broke into cliques. Many different gangs where it was a structured thing back in the days. But back in 1973, Larry Hoover was sentenced to 100 years, all right, which means that he would die in prison. So that's how these people operate. You got to understand. They use you, and then when they don't have any use for you, they kill you. That's the very essence of the people that control this planet. When they don't have any use for you, they will kill you. All right, so Larry Hoover was used, infiltrated, compromised, and used. And then when they got him, what happens? He when they got him, he was, everybody broke into cliques. And that's why you got people killing each other in Chicago and throughout the United States of America. So you create gangs. Part of the conspiracy was create gangs that to terrorize young people. The government infiltrated the leadership, and then it became cliques to make sure, like a full-blown AIDS, okay, like full-blown AIDS will kill much more faster and with many more proportion for the devil's due. Give them weapons and drugs as much as you can to bring about a very quick genocide. So the south side of Chicago, the west side of Chicago, they are all these young people do not know that they are being used to destroy their own community. In the name of what? In the name of money and power. Okay? 8. But in fact, I'm gonna send you a link. I'm gonna send you a link where it's gonna show you how the guns were actually how there are no gun shops in Chicago. You cannot go to a gun shop and buy any gun. There are no gun shops in Chicago. So where are these guns, all of these guns coming from? I'm going to send you a link which proves that the government of the United States, yes. Because the thing is, ladies and gentlemen, you got to understand who controls the United States. Let me just tell you something real quick. The Federal Reserve. Who controls the money? Once you control the money in a society, they call the shots. The Federal Reserve are controlled by the Zionists, which are Jewish. Then, on top of that, since they control everything, they hate black people and Spanish people, all right? And the Hispanic community. They think that you are all dogs, that we are all dogs. We are subhuman species walking upon 2 feet. You understand? Okay. I'm glad that you do, because once I'm finished reading this, we're going to hit the book. We're going to hit the real book, which is the Bible. Now, I don't care what you think about the Bible. Do not fall into this deep rabbit hole of hating the holy book, because believe it or not, you will have to answer to your Creator once all this thing is done. So I'm going to show you how the guns and the drugs were actually. I'm going to send you the link, but let me just give you a quick rundown. The government brings the drugs and the guns to the community, with the purpose of making sure that you all destroy each other, and it is working to perfection. Oh yeah. But first you must destroy the family unit by working them to the education system and human services like child protection services. All right? Because let me just tell you something real quick right here. The purpose of life, when we was first created upon this planet, was God wanted to multiply Himself through the human creation. So He created humans. We are a reflection of the heavenly family. The heavenly family is composed as the following: the Father, the mother, and the child. And you may say, okay, who is the Father? Well, the name that He gave Moses: I am that I am. Now the mother her name is, in Hebrew, is Rawak Hakodesh. Rawak. That's the female. That's a female synonym. It's not a man, because the thing is, it was changed by the Roman Catholic Church. You got to understand, ladies and gentlemen, that the Roman Catholic Church is the first beast of the Bible. It talks about the first beast, and then the second beast is the United States. It clearly talks about on chapter 13 of the book of Revelation, if you don't believe me. All right, and if we have time today, I'm going to go there. Let's go. Okay? See, I work for the government, so I know what I'm talking about. All right. 9. Kill their will to work by giving them government handouts. See, if you kill people's will to work, then you got people that no longer gonna work, because like, what am I gonna work for? You got the IRS that want a piece of because ladies and gentlemen, the IRS, the taxman, is an enforcer for the Federal Reserve. Those are the real criminals, and they both were created in different time in the year of 1913. Let's keep going. Like I said, I'm going to try to squeeze this in as much as I can. Bumpy Johnson. He was a black man that used to work for the Italian Mafia back in the 70s. 2. Larry Hoover. Okay? He was the one that created the GDs. Gangster disciples. 3. Stanley Tookie Williams and Raymond Washington. They were the one that created the Crips. Right. So, but everything came out of the Black Panther. Okay? Black Panther was a party that created, like, all right. See, so you see what I mean? And in its beginning, in its conception, all of these groups that came was kind of a fighting of the injustices against the black man, against the black family. But you know what? They were infiltrated, and then Stanley Tookie Williams and Raymond Washington, they created the Crips. Then came along Sylvester Scott and Vincent Owens, who created the Bloods. And these people, Sylvester Scott, ladies and gentlemen, they observed the Crips, because the Crips were a much bigger gang back in the days. And you got young kids going out there with no mind, because you got to understand that the United States is the most naive and the stupidest nation on this planet, because it has been the whole United States is under a spell. So that because it's being worked, it's being distracted. For instance, you heard the news? Epstein committed suicide. Unbelievable. Epstein committed suicide. I told you he wasn't going to do it on time. That man was probably secretly lifted out of this country to one of his private islands, perhaps. He didn't kill himself. Let me just tell you why this is not true. He previously tried to kill himself. So he was in a prison in New York. I know exactly where that prison is. He was in a prison back in New York where he tried to kill himself. So they put him in a special prison, a special cell where he couldn't try to kill himself. Come on, man. So easy. But here we go. All right. So what I'm about to give you right now is the name of some of the gangs in Chicago. I mean, there are many, many more. If I miss some, no problem. I'm just giving you some of them. 1, the Vice Lords. 2, GD, Gangster Disciples. 3, Black Souls. Really? Really, dudes? Black Souls? Which was created by a man that was named King David. 4, Latin Souls. Really? Latin Soul. 5, Satan's Disciples. Really? Satan's Disciples. What a beautiful name for a gang that dedicate themselves to rob, kill, and sell drugs. Satan's Disciples. 6. 6. Latin Counts. Wow, Latin Counts. 7, Insane Deuces. 8, Gangster 26. 9, Almighty P. Blackstone, was created by Jeff Ford. Number 10, La Raza. Really? Do you even know what La Raza means? I'm going to show you what La Raza means. I just gave you a hint at the beginning of this video. We are the descendant of Israel, the nation of Israel, the lost 12 tribes of Israel. That's exactly where we are. And that's exactly who we are. 11, Mickey Cobra. Really, y'all? Mickey Cobra. Beautiful. 12, Maniac Latin Disciples. 3, Black Disciples. 14, Latin Kings. Kings of what? Your leaders are all locked up. Wake up and smell the coffee. 15, Main Street Mafia, Crips. And absolutely, they are Main Street over there in California. And 16, you got Bloods. All right, now, Main Street Mafia Crips, you got some of them in Chicago, but they're not as big as they are in LA. All right, so let me just tell you, before we get into the Bible, the real book, how the devil has completely destroyed the family unit. He has destroyed the family unit through religions, through Hollywood, the rap game, and video games. You got some young men going around with sagging, their pants sagging, you got tattoos all over your body. You breaking, your body is not your own. This life was given to you. You are living on borrowed time and you decide to kill each other? Does that even begin to make any sense? No, it doesn't. But you know what? I'm hoping that this message will get to some of you, but I doubt it, because you're already being worked. It's like a religious person. See how religion? Now, what was religion used to deceive our people? Okay, because they know we are the most religious people, the most spiritual people on this planet. We have always been and always will be. But there's some few of us, it's not even funny. Most of our people will die. So the slaughterhouse that's happening, it's a human slaughterhouse that's happening in Chicago. You all have been worked. And I hate to tell you, but it is too late unless you adhere to what I'm about to say. You think you think your political leaders care? Are you kidding me? Let me just tell you something about your political leaders. they completely fucked you up. Excuse my French. Let me just tell you what they do. They tell you not to kill. They tell you that killing is bad. But the best killers and the most cruel killers are the politicians. It's a big mafia that they got. Okay? And now you may say, what are you talking about, Ruben? Well, what about abortion? Do you know the purpose of what the purpose of abortion was? Do you know even who created abortion? And what was the purpose of abortion? It was to depopulate your ass. Yes, black people and Spanish people and Native American people. Wake up. Okay? Wake the hell up. And yet the people that are practicing, that have abortion perform on them the most are the black people. And yet we ask our youth to appreciate life. So you see how they have worked? You see how they have worked our people? Alright? So we are deep in a rabbit hole and we don't know how to climb out of it. When it is very, very easy. But it's hard to get to that point. Alright? The only way to come out of this labyrinth, this devilish labyrinth that we find ourselves in, is by how we have always come out of this madness and sufferings, by crying out to our Creator and ask Him to forgive our sins. All right? And to come to His way of living, following the 10 Commandments. Let me just tell you a little bit about myself. All right? I grew up in New York. And I used to sell drugs in New York. In fact, I was at the level where we actually dealt with DEA agents. We sold to DEA agents, knowing that they were DEA, Drug Enforcement Administration. And they knew that we knew. But you know what we did? In order for us to sell them drugs, they had to sniff the drugs right in front of us. Because there's a technicality called entrapment. And entrapment was not admissible in a court of law. Okay? That's how I knew who are the people responsible. That's where I found out who are the people bringing in the drugs into our community. Because I was part of the game. Believe it or not. Alright? So religions have really been a tremendous disappointment to our people. They have been emotionally exploited by religions. They have been financially exploited by religions. And they have been demoralized through religions. Hollywood, by the way, is the devil's den, believe it or not. And they have some beautiful movies out there for our youth to learn from, to be inspired by. Here's some of them. New Jack City, Boys in the Hood, Menace to Society, Scarface, Tony Montana. You got all of these wonderful, very inspiring movies. And what do young people do? They want to be like them. Alright? They want to be like Nino, New Jack City. They want to be like the next, they want to do what those kids did in Menace to Society. Then you got the rap game. Like rap artists like Lil Wayne. Okay? Nicki Minaj. Lil Uzi. Eazy-E, who by the way was killed. Now you know why Eazy-E was killed? Because he was about to bring a movement, a peaceful movement of reconciliation between East and West. So before he did that, they got him out of the way. Okay? And then you got video games that are full of blood, beheading, killing. I mean, you got Warcraft game, you got, you name it. You got Call of Duty. Okay, it's all about killing. It's all about blood. So our youth don't have any hope of climbing out this rabbit hole. So you see, so the devil has done his job to perfection. And that's why you see even young kids that are not in gang with tattoos, earrings up the ass, you got them sagging and walking around with a gun, and they think they're big man. Okay? Now, another thing before I move into the real book. All right? Another thing before I move into the real book is and again, like I said, this is going to be probably a 2 or maybe a 3-part series, because obviously it's not going to be enough time for me to get all of this in. But so before I move into the book, I want you to know that the reason I'm doing this, I do this out of love. It hurts me when I see people killing each other in Chicago. So being the black community, the black people on this planet, and the Hispanic and the Indians, and by the way, Indians was a term that Christopher Columbus, who killed millions upon millions of our people, all right? Christopher Columbus killed millions and millions of our people, all right? He coined the term Indian, because when he got to the Caribbean, he thought he was in India. And that's why you got some places called West Indies. He named part of the Caribbean West Indies. But anyway, so you got, we are people's, God's people, we are all messed up. If you go to any Native American tribe, they've been pushed to the side, you're going to see a lot of alcoholism, a lot of drug use. All right? All right? If you go to Rubens, the Seminoles Indians in Australia, and some of them are still in Florida. If you go to them, you're going to see a lot of alcoholism. If you go to Brazil, you're going to see a lot of our people being poor. Oh, they are so poor. And they go hungry. And they suffer. And then you got gangs. Hello. Again, you got gangs within these communities killing each other. Now, if they don't have food to eat, but they got guns. You see? This is a worldwide conspiracy. This is not just about Chicago. I'm just saying, I just coined the term Chicago, an experiment called Chicago. Actually, a slaughterhouse, because it's closer to home. But this thing has been going on for many, many years, even back in ancient time in the Bible. I mean, this is not now. You got the Haitians, which is the tribe of Levi. What do? They worship their god voodoo. They practice voodoo. And now you may say, well, what the Levites used to do? They used to be the people that used to do sacrifices. And they used to do Holocaust for the forgiveness of sins for the rest of the 11 tribes. But look at them. Those people are so hungry that they make a pie out of dirt. All right? I'm sure, I don't care if you know Spanish or not, or Spanglish, whatever you know. I'm sure you heard about the cartel situation in Mexico, where they kill each other, behead each other, all right? Because everything started with the letter M. What's the letter M? The letter M is the 13th letter in the alphabet. The Mexican Mafia. All right? So it worked its way in like the snake that it is, and our people, once again, fell. In fact, when there was war back in San Salvador, back in the 1975 through 79, all right, people came in droves. They came to the United States looking for a better life in LA. And they will be mistreated, discriminated against. So a gang was born out of it. Again, every gang, each beginning, if you look at each beginning, it's very humble and noble. But then what happens? It gets corrupted. It gets infiltrated. And the demons come in, rushing, and mess the whole thing up. All right? And that's where MS-13 came out of. The MS-13, okay, the reason they chose the 13 letter, the 13 was as a tribute to the Mexican Mafia who actually helped them. Okay? They actually helped. The Mexican Mafia helped the Salvadorian that came in here back in the 1980s in LA. So as a honor and as a tribute to them, that's why they call themselves the MS-13. Now you got many cliques all over the United States called Sureños 13, which is the same thing. It's really sad, really, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, God's people are being like, are being raffled by the devil. And who are we going to kill today? It's a sickening, ridiculous joke. All right? But it's okay. So we have been worked on every level. Educational, which is a brainwashing. Then you have people that, even Martin Luther King. Do you know that Martin Luther King was a Freemason? The Masonic order of this planet have worked, okay? Have worked against our people. In fact, let us go to Ephesians. Check this, ladies and gentlemen. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12. Here's what he says. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. You think this is a physical battle? No. You got to understand that before there was any physical thing created on this planet, everything that is made was made by the Spirit. And that spirit, and that's beautiful. And eternal spiritual power is from God, but not God. He doesn't like to be called God. But I'm just naming him, I'm just saying God for the sake of argument right now. Alright? Now, let us go to Psalm 83. Psalm 83. Again, when this thing stops, ladies and gentlemen, just know that I will continue this video. Again, it's going to be a 3-part series, so don't feel bad, okay? I mean, don't say, oh, we lost him. No. Psalm 83, verse 4. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. You see? You see? Come on, ladies and gentlemen. And who are better than our youth? Who is better to work on than our youth? In fact, the devil has an old saying. He said, I like them young. All right? So we got to understand who we are as a people before we can move forward and understand as to why this thing is happening in front of us. What is really happening, not just in Chicago, but in Brazil, in Africa, in LA, in Mexico, in Colombia, in Guatemala, Honduras, Brazil, San Salvador, okay, now Venezuela, you name it. We are the majority all over the planet. And that's why they term the coin, they coined the term minority. But in reality, we are the majority. But they got to split up, okay? Remember the conquistador, the conquerors came, and what have we done? We have followed them. We want to be like them. We don't want to be like Mike. We want to be like our conquerors, being caught in the Stockholm Syndrome. Do your research on the Stockholm Syndrome. You can Google it. Go ahead. The Stockholm Syndrome is when you want to be like your captors. You identify yourself with your captors, and that's how we are falling into their traps, into their conspiracy. No one on YouTube is talking about this, and I'm not interested in my channel being demonetized, because this truth is priceless. But here's what I want you to do. Please subscribe to this channel, so this word we can spread this word around. Okay? So we can start making a dent on this devil's game and devil's goal to destroy our people. I'm gonna leave you now because I'm about to be cut off. Alright? Alright, so I'm just telling you, may God bless you for now. And there's another video coming. But again, this is kind of an introduction of what I'm really going to talk about. I mean, this is going to be a series, like I said. Alright? So I hope you are ready for the truth. Because I can only give you the truth. And I'm not going to ask you for no money. I'm not going to ask you for anything. But if you choose to help on this project, then and spreading of the gospel, then may God bless you, no problem. But I'm not asking you for anything. I'm only asking you to analyze everything that I'm saying, that I'm stating here. about the Chicago human slaughterhouse, because that's exactly what is happening. Let's call it for what it is. All right? And why these kids get so, the adrenaline gets so kicks in when they kill, for the high. So they want to escape their reality. And the excuse is, well, this is what we got. You know, this is Chicago, man. This is all we know. But there is a way out. Okay? By understanding what's happening in front of you and praying to your Creator. Believe me, He will protect you from all the gangs and even the government. Now, don't look up the story of the Christ, the word called Christ, by His name is Yahushua, who died not on a cross for us. He died he was hung, all right, on a piece of wood, on a slab. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that's another lie, because the cross were being used even before Christ came on the scene. Do you know that? That was a song worshiping. Okay, it was part of a ritual, but through making human sacrifices to the God, to the Son God. But I'm going to continue. Okay, this is only the beginning. All right? This is only the beginning, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm doing this out of love. You don't know me, but you will when God comes. And now you do through this video. All right? Stop. I mean, it's not enough to scream. How can you be telling your young kids to stop the killing when we ourselves have created this situation? Our parents, the parents have failed their kids. Society have failed their kids. Okay? By design, by the people that control the society, that controls the money. And the only way that in fact, most people that go in Hollywood have to sell their soul to the devil. And yet these are the people that we look up to. Well, I don't. I woke up. I'm just saying. These are the people that we look up to. Ladies and gentlemen, please wake the hell up. This is serious. That's a double heart attack, what I'm telling you here. This is urgent. This is an urgent message. And again, don't forget the links that I will provide for you on this video. It's easy to criticize the gangs. Oh, they are the evil. People pointing their fingers at them. I don't consider you my enemies. I don't consider you the gangsters out there. I consider you people that don't know any better. And I love you all. I don't care which gangs you are from. I accept you. And so does my Creator. But just do the right thing. But the only way that you're going to do the right thing is by knowing the history and the game and the conspiracy from the devil in this evil matrix that we're living under. And we are living on the last day, by the way. Again, I cannot emphasize that enough, even if I wanted to. May God bless you. Until the next video, signing off.